What's up, guys? We're here in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest. We just performed not too long ago, had a great time. Now we're out here on the streets, stopping random people, just getting them to pronounce this word. You may know how to say it, but a lot of people don't. They mess it up all the time. So now we're trying to see what random strangers, when they see it for the first time in completely out of context, what they would think about that word. So check it out. So, where are you guys from?
I'm from Amarillo, Texas. Texas State.
Where are you guys from?
From here, from Austin.
And what's your names?
Ashley. Alicia. Melinda. Angela.
Alejandro.
And Alejandra.
What?
My name is India.
And where are you from?
I'm from Austin, Texas. I'm an original Austinite.
You're from Mexico.
Yeah, we're from Mexico.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? Us too. Hell yeah, that's what's up. What's your name?
Ashley.
Ashley?
This is Maggie.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
My name's BJ.
Larry Singleton, sir.
Mika.
Anna.
I live up here. I've been here since like 2011. I fly our colors just about every night up in Austin, but I went to art class earlier.
Isaiah.
Sarah.
And where are you from, Sarah?
I'm from Dallas.
Jonathan.
Bree Cole.
She got to grab the microphone.
Nietzsche.
Where are you from?
Jacksonville, Florida, but I live here in Austin.
All right, man. What's your name?
Blake.
Blake? Like Blake Griffin.
Blake Scott.
Okay. This dude is tall as hell.
I can jump higher than Blake Griffin.
Oh, snap. What's your name again?
Zach.
And where are you from, Zach?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. I've been there. It's an awesome place. I love it there. Great Mexican food.
Yes.
What's your favorite Mexican spot?
Eric's Tacos.
Eric's Tacos. That sounds like a little crabby hole in the wall. Isn't it?
It's a food truck.
All right, so what we're doing is we're trying to get people to pronounce this word. Give me your best guess.
Jutuan.
Jutan.
Jutaon.
Jutun.
Jutuan.
Jetawan.
Jutan.
Hutaun. It's got the soft J.
Jutan.
Juatun.
Wonton. Whoa. That's pretty good.
Jutuan.
Jutuan.
In Austin, Juhata. In fucking Boston, Jutuan.
It's different in different states.
Juton.
I'm going to say Huton.
Hutan?
Huton.
Jatuan.
Jutuan.
Watuan.
Yeah, I'm going to go with which one?
Watuan? So it's a W. Watuan.
Jutuan.
Jutan.
Wonton.
Wonton. Okay, there's a W. You see the W.
Utah.
It's actually really close.
Juan.
Huan?
Juan? Shit.
Jatan.
Yo, that was perfect.
One. What's up, guys? We are live. I can't see anything, so shout out to my mom. I don't see anybody else.
I don't see anybody. I just shout out to Jake Eugene Evans.
There we go. So we're live, and we're going to get into some things. We're going to play some new music for you that's coming out next week, April 5th, a little bit after this. So, yeah, you're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
Yeah, so
Something happened to Jake. He transformed. And
What's up?
Jamie, you're live.
What's going on? Jamie just joined us.
Jay, you don't match.
Is that the new style?
I see you. Black hoodie with.
What's up, everybody? We're live. I'm here. I'm in my spot. I'm in my seat now.
How come everything's late?
No, because he's hearing it on, I guess, watching on his phone.
Yeah, we hear it on your phone, Jamie.
It's a bit of a delay. We hear it through your speaker.
Yo, Jaja, something's going on with the rendezvous.
Oh, is it? Let me take a look.
It's like how you watch the news
all right,
and they interview
you
somebody.
can take that off my
Yo, Jaja, bring it in on the rendezvous. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's why I can't
Solo shot of you.
So what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll just talk while we're
let's
figuring it
figure
out.
it out, yeah.
So we're trying to bring Jamie in, obviously. Jamie's home right now. He's sick, and he has the COVID.
Yo, rendezvous just went down.
Rendezvous just went down.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all good.
That was on purpose, Angie. That Jamie's head was on Jake's body.
What would that mean?
That was our joke.
What's that?
Oh,
mean?
he's back in.
He's back in?
What'd she say?
Okay.
She said Jamie's head is on Jake's body. Jake has to move.
Yeah, we did that on purpose, Mom.
That was a little jokey joke.
Yes, it was a joke. So, Jamie back?
He's back in. Let me see if I can try and wait. Sorry, trying to fix this so I can.
You pulled a YouTube.
So yeah, we wanted to have Jamie come in for a little bit, have a chat. You could tell his voice is a little rough.
Yeah,
but he's getting better. He'll
Yes.
be back soon.
By the grace.
Just want to be able to see if he's talking. There you go. All right,
is he back up?
Good.
He's on. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear us, Jamie? Does he have to be up?
Let me see. Can you hear us?
All right. Is he back up? Good. He's on here. Okay. Can you hear us, Jamie?
I hear us late as heck.
Yeah.
Got that echo delay.
Yeah, I don't know if.
I don't think he's hearing us in real time. So.
I can only hear y'all if I listen to the stream. I'm not getting it through the rendezvous link. I'm not getting. It's just you need.
Can you hear it
you
now?
need to reactivate the. You need to reactivate what I'm seeing.
Bear with us the
Can you hear
second.
now? I reactivated it, but I don't know what's going on.
It was working perfect before.
That's what happens when you go live.
All right, I reactivated everything, so I don't know.
And
Yo,
now
the
we're
whole thing
seeing
just dropped out. All right.
Freddie Jackson.
All right, now you're tuned into the Freddie Jackson.
So,
all right, so it's gone. It went out again. So I don't know.
it went out, but we're still live?
We're still live. He's just going in and out. I think something's wrong with the rendezvous.
Okay.
All right, well.
All right, well,
Restart.
I mean, you can see if you can try to work that out. We'll just continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wanted to. What's up, Emma? We wanted to share our new song with you guys. It's called "Darling." So I'm gonna pull it up.
April 5th, you can stream it.
Yeah.
Okay,
iTunes, Spotify.
There it is.
You bring it up on the computer?
Yeah.
Shout outs.
You got it? There he is.
Jamie's back up.
Oh, what up, Jay?
Good?
Yeah.
He don't hear us.
Hey.
That got me a little emotional, man.
So that's Darling. I don't know. Can we hear Jamie? Okay. You hear us, Jamie? He's talking. We can't hear him.
Can you hear us, Jimmy? Oh.
Nope.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
So
yeah, it's weird. I hear y'all now, but the screen that I'm getting is the three of you frozen on camera 3. But it's fine. This is better than what it was. Oh, now I see Jake.
Okay. So Darlin comes out
April 5th.
April 5th next week. You want to talk about it a little, James? How it came about?
Yeah, man. Shout out to all of our musicians, our guys, Steve, Carter, Jordan, Mike. That song was one of those songs that came together just from us being in the same room and just messing around. I remember when Steve started playing those 2 chord changes and like gave it kind of a reggae feel that kind of reminded me of like the old Wailers stuff, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know, like for some reason that melody was in my head, that oh darling, like it made me feel like something from the 60s, like almost like Whoa Donna or something like that, you know what I mean? I had a girl, Donna was her name, that very like 50s kind of melody. Yeah. So it was like, that's when because we didn't even have lyrics at first, but we did have that, whoa, darling.
Yeah.
And then we didn't know what came after that. So it was like we kind of just let it take shape from there. And then I remember I wanted to kind of explore that vibe of what I was hearing from the Wailers, which was like there's a Bob Marley song that I played for everybody, and I was like, I kind of want to like start from this point. I forget which song it was. It may have been, I don't remember, but then I remember like saying like, I don't want it to be this, but I wanted to like kind of have this vibe. So we kind of based it off of that. And then, everybody brought their own little flavor to it. And then, as the production was coming together, it was reminding me of, I was telling Jake about this. It was reminding me of the type of production that was on the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album. And I was using that album as a sonic reference for like the sonic quality of the mix and how the bass sounds and how the drums are hitting and everything. I kind of was referencing Miseducation of Lauryn Hill for that, because it was encompassing all of those things that like have influenced us, where it's that old 50s doo-wop that we kind of like, cut our teeth on with harmonies and stuff like that. And then also the old Bob Marley reggae, which we love, of course. And then, but also that 90s, soul R&B stuff at the same time. So it was just kind of like all of that coming together. And the way it sounds to me, I love it, man. Like I love how it came out. With what everyone brought to the record. Like I remember being in that room that y'all are in right now, setting up Carter at that bass amp right behind Jake, and Steve was in the room, and I cut Carter and Steve live at the same time. And then you guys remember that old out of tune piano that was over in the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a video on our Instagram page on one of the highlights where I was sitting there messing around with that piano, that little piano riff at the beginning that kind of also reminded me of like some old 50s doo-wop, like just the way the sound of that piano was. And that piano was so beautifully like out of tune that it had, I know that's a weird way to put it, but it was so like, it was so like reminiscent the way it sounded.
Right.
Yeah, that like I wanted to capture that.
I just want to play that.
Yeah.
Like you hear, okay, so
like,
pause that real quick.
Okay, now I can't stop it. Where is it coming from?
Maybe press the space bar.
Is it on iTunes or?
You press
we're just gonna turn that off.
There you go.
So,
Okay,
go ahead.
but
Jamie,
you feel
sorry.
like you hear that piano that starts the whole record, right? It's
Yeah.
almost got like you could hear that on some old cassette tape, and you hear somebody's like grandmom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like playing that on an old rickety piano. So I wanted to capture that for the record. So I remember sitting down at the piano and being like, all right, I want to capture the way this sounds, but it's going to be completely out of tune and not usable, you know. So I ended up having an idea to bring it into Logic, bring it into the computer, and just like put it back in tune after I recorded it. And I knew that would make it sound even more like in the direction of what I wanted, because anytime you adjust something like that, it's gonna degrade it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't sound as pristine, which is what I was kind of going for. And it just like the way it came out was so perfect to me. Like,
doesn't it speak to like, to me is like, there's beauty in perfection and just naturalness and rawness, you know?
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
beauty
in imperfection. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah. You know, I'll be messing up things.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you said the like Mrs. Education, because that's the first line. It could all be so simple.
Bro,
it was something
like,
that I was saying to you, and I'm like, yo, should I use this? Because I'm just feeling this. You know, it could all be so simple.
It's a great line.
And that's, of course we know where that's from.
Such an iconic line. And that's just like, the thing is, that had nothing to do. It's funny how like all of those things just came together like that, because like that had nothing to do, like the production and everything was already underway when you kind of, so it's almost like we were feeling the same spirit from what this record was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Because like most of the production and the sonic stuff was already in place when you wrote that, when you came up with that part. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it was like, and it was just like, to me, when you said it, like, oh, I just feel like we should start it with the Lauryn Hill line. And I'm like, yo, that's perfect. Like that was just perfect to me. And it also like set the tone for what the whole song was going to be about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because and that informed what Whoa Darlin was going to be like. Because, you know, Darlin, I've been waiting, you know, on your call. Yeah. You know, so we knew that we were going to say, whoa, Darlin, I've been waiting, but we didn't really know where that was going. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like that line, it could all be so simple, but so why do you make it hard? Just kind of like really put the direction where it needed to go.
And I think that pays homage to, you know, styles, not straight up jacking.
Yeah.
Like some of these other fools out here be are doing.
No, it was yeah.
I mean,
It's just
yeah, there's a difference. If we started dressing like the food, if we do like the whole music video dress up like the Fugees, you know,
It's like here's the respect.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you did it.
or dressed up like Bob Marley and the Wailers. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if we did that, did the whole,
You
it's
went
like
too
no,
far.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like we just.
It's the feel.
Yeah.
It's the feel. We sonically we're paying homage, like you said, Stiz. We're paying homage to the things that have influenced us, you know.
Right.
But we're not trying to mimic anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, I just want to, I want to do something because I'm not there and I miss doing it, and no one else did it. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for watching.
I did shout out, but I didn't do it exactly how you do it.
I was
we don't
gonna
do
say,
it like we do.
I just want to I want to let everybody know that the Patreon has been updated. So if you want to support the Young Lions, if you want to come into the pride, if you want to boss up your level, if you want to be a part of this kingdom, you can go to the patreon.com/youngliontv and you can sign up to whichever tier you feel like you're ready for. There's 4 different tiers there that we have set up right now, which are the first tier is feeding the lions. It's just like if you want to support and throw a couple dollars donation, and the second tier is cub level, third tier is young lion level, and the fourth tier is king lion level. So if you want to support, you can go on there and
You want to be
sign up.
royalty.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about where you're at, what you're ready to be a part of, how much of the community you want to invest. But also, you can Cash App. Shout out to all the people that have been donating and showing love to us. The Cash App is # Young Lion TV. Shout out to our first King level Lion supporter, who is Migdalia. Shout out to her. She's watching right now
Yes.
too. I saw her on
We
there.
love you.
She has been coming through with the support. So yeah, we appreciate all of y'all. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you share this video. Go like and subscribe on the YouTube as well, because we need to get those. We need to work the YouTube. But back to the program.
Yeah, I mean that's needed. Thank you for that, Jamie. You do it well. So back to Darling. We're just trying to give you like an inside look at how we create and come up with this music. It's organic a lot of times. Somebody plays a line and then we like it and we just start vibing off of it. A lot of times stuff happens in rehearsal. Like we just did a song called Open, and it literally started from Steve playing a part. Then he's like, oh, I want to do something with it. And we're like, keep playing it. And literally I had the lyrics within 10 minutes. It was a song. So and sometimes it just comes like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a little longer. I know with Darling, I didn't know what it was going to be. Like you had that line, Jamie, and it was like, I prayed about it. That's really what happened. I prayed about it, and God opened up that creative thing where I didn't know what it was going to be. That happens a lot, and that's what came out first. It could all be so simple. So why do you make it hard? And then it's turned into a woman. A lot of it comes from Ezekiel 16. Which speaks about Jerusalem, but it's as a woman, but it's also connected to like the church and the bride.
Yeah, and even like it's connected to so many things, because like that song has spoken to me on many levels with just other things that we go through, because we have a tendency to not honor and respect the gifts that were given to us and the way we've been groomed to be the flowers that we are, and like we tend to look at our own beauty and and admire ourselves or be built up in this pride, and we lose our way. Yo, shout out to Jordan. What's up, Jordan?
What's up,
Jordan? Say, yo, bro. Yeah, Jordan. Jordan laid down some great guitar tracks on that song, man.
Yeah, he did. Thank you, Jordan. He's a very pivotal part of what we do, and we appreciate him very much.
Yeah,
it's cool. Like with our band and with the people here, like we grow together. You know, we grow in the spirit together.
Just last night we were just getting in deep.
Yeah, talking.
Just
me and him were here for a while after y'all left.
Yeah,
just talking outside,
and it's healing, yo. Like
yeah,
talking to you guys about stuff that's going on.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, Jordan. Man, I love you, bro.
Yeah, definitely. It's cool to see how we all grow together and how the music, even before it comes out, it affects our lives.
Yeah.
And we always say, like, we can't be so proud, like, and this is kind of what the song is about. Like, we can't be so proud to say, like, yeah, well, I did this thing and I did this thing here and what I wanted to do, because it kind of doesn't all come from us.
Right.
You know, it's spirit led. So it's like, we don't even know what it's going to be. And we always got to be led to know, okay, where is this going, God? You know?
Yeah.
And we might get a feel, or we might get something from it, but where is it going? That has to be led. And then we can't really take ownership of it in a way where we think, yeah, well, I did this thing. No, it's something that we know. If it's helping me, but I wrote it, I didn't really write it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's helping me. Like, it's going past my own understanding of of what I wrote. So obviously, you know, it's a spiritual thing, and it's something that we grow in. So Jordan said, and Jamie doctored those parts up like crazy. Love being a part of this crew. Love you guys. Love you too, Jordan.
What you cracking up over there about Jaja?
So what I'm laughing about is on my screen. So when I had Jamie in the corner on my screen, because I see his rendezvous, like that where he came in at. I see that port, and then I see the regular screen. But and he's in the corner, Jake's looking at the screen, and it looks like Jake's looking at Jamie, but Jamie was looking up, and on my screen, Jake's above him. So it looks like he's looking up at Jake. I was laughing so hard.
He's looking up to his brother.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
That's how it should be.
Actually, on this song in particular, to be honest, Jordan, like, I didn't actually have to do much tweaking to what you played. Like, I just had literally, like, sometimes, like, I'll have Jordan in the studio and I'll just, like, let him play like 100 tracks and stuff, and I'll just, like, go through and start, like, piecing things together. But on this song, it was kind of like the vibe was so clear what we wanted that like, I had him play it down a few times, and I had about like 8 tracks of guitars to work with, and then I just kind of muted a couple and left some stuff in there, and it was what it was. Like, he played some really good stuff. So it wasn't like I know what he's saying, because on some of the songs, like, I'll go in and, like, spend a lot of time cutting stuff up, but on this one, for some reason, it wasn't like that.
Right. That's cool. Good to know.
That's what's up.
On the writing side, it's a perspective from God, right? And that's what blows my mind, is like how loving a God we have, where, because it's the B section is about how, like, I'll chase you until your heart is tame. No, it will not be in vain.
Mm-hmm.
And that hits me so hard, like, the love that he has for us, where even though we left him, you know, we played him out for the beauty of the world, like, because people are hollering at us because they see our beauty, but yet it didn't really come from us. It came from him.
Right.
So we forsake him to go after the world, right? And to go after that system, but then he's still coming after us.
That's ultimate love, yo.
You know?
Patience.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's
Just
always
wait.
right
I'll be
there.
waiting.
I'll be waiting. Yeah. And that's
And at that
That's-
pivotal moment, when you think, you know, or when you need it, he's right there.
He's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why that part, the little break in the middle, where Jake picks it back up again. When we recorded that, and I don't know if you remember, like that was the demo take that's on the record. But the way you performed that, like, had me choked up in the studio, and it was because I felt everything you were saying, and it's exactly what Stan is talking about. Because you're talking about, when the rain comes down and the thunder sounds, I'll be waiting. When the midnight fall calls you into deep darkness, where I'll be waiting. You know what I mean? When you're lost in shame, remember my name. I'll be waiting. It's about, no matter what you're going through, or no matter how many times you have forgotten me, I won't forget you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
You just got me a little
powerful.
emotional just speaking them lyrics, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it hits me almost every time.
Yeah.
Because you feel that covering.
Yeah.
Right at that moment when you need it. It's like,
yeah.
Wow, he's always here.
Yeah, I mean, and when have you guys been like checking out any of this red pill community that I've talked about on the podcast before?
Not extensively.
So like,
no.
You're talking about the men, right?
The men that's
I'm talking about like the Kevin Samuels movement, the whole, like, there's this whole community of men on YouTube that are
just
like
rebelling.
Yeah, but what they're also doing is they're judging women for the choices that they may have made in the past, and kind of like what this song is addressing, where it's like, women have chased after, or you have looked internally into their beauty and chased after the wrong things for a while, and then they're left scarred, they're left damaged, they're left broken, and then they're looking for a good man to come in and save them from that. So this whole red pill community is about guys who are like trying to tell them why they're not going to get what they want. But the honest part about it, if we're really being honest, is that it's men that have failed them, and I think that this song is the exact opposite of that, because it does point those things out in the song, but it also talks about how you can be redeemed from those things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I think that's what, like, when you look at like Corinthians 13 and 1 Corinthians 13, and it talks about love, it says like you can prophesy, you can speak in tongues, you can do these things, but yet you're like a clanging cymbal if you don't have love. And,
right.
And so like a lot of people, like they have their amount of love and then they cut off. Like, okay, you went over the line. But God's like, no, love bears all things. Love hopes all things. Love believes all things. And when we come to the end of ourselves, we have him even to love greater than we're able to love. And so even in terms of that song, like, yeah, it's from his perspective, but he's that character that we can tap into to become part of that character, where we can love greater than we were able to love before. And yeah, as men, I think that's a strength that men need to tap into that's fleeting in this world we have today. Like, as men, we are meant to be strong, but not physically strong, more than
not a prideful strong.
No, more than a bearing strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being able to bear beyond what maybe, and don't get me wrong, women can do it too, but I'm just saying, like, men can play that role where we can love past the situation. Like, women, they can get caught up in their feelings and the emotions a little more, but that's not to say that we need to be separated from our emotions as men.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just have to rule over them. And it comes through seeking God. Like, I know in marriage, my wife will piss me off, but I can get past that through God. I put him first, and that's like a cliche. You got to put God first. You know what I mean? But literally, it's like putting him first means I have to die to my own idea of what I think she should be doing, right? And she's not living up to. I gotta die to that
Image.
idea of how she should live up, right? And then he can show me how to live greater than that, how to bear more for her, how to love her greater than I'm able to love. And then when I do that, I shift it to him. Now I see it differently. Now I'm able to love her greater. And then a lot of times, like, what we thought was a big thing, it wasn't even that big of a deal.
Right.
But somebody's got to take the step. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to be the bigger person in a way and trust God. You know?
Someone's got to love past all knowledge. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I'll be waiting is. It's like, no matter what you think, like, there's nothing that you can do that's gonna stop, that's gonna cause my love to fail. You know what I mean? Like, you talked about this before, Jake, about like unconditional love, about like there's no conditions on it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right. And that's
real quick, Jordan said, glad you're doing this, taking time to break down this song. God really does give us so much through this music / lyrics. Yes, sir. Mom said, oh, so beautiful. And Melanie said, hey, and gave the hearts. What's up, Mel?
Hey, Melanie.
Hey.
Yeah, but
it breaks past our conditions.
Right.
We have conditions. Sometimes we don't even realize those conditions are there. Like, well, I expect my wife to love me this way. Right. Even on the other end, like, I expect her to do these things. And
that's the new psychology they've unleashed on us, the love language thing. Have you guys heard about this?
Yes. Yes, I have. And it's some BS. And not to say that you can't recognize how people feel, because that's a thing. But just because somebody feels a way don't mean they're right.
Right.
You know? So, but you got to recognize it so that we can work past it. And so, you got to recognize people's feelings. That's one thing. Like, you can't just discredit somebody because they feel, even if they're wrong. Like, if they feel that way, we got to get to the root of why they feel that way. And that's love. Yeah. Because if not, I'm just cutting her off. Right. I'm just cutting my wife. Like, you don't have the right to feel that way. Get out of here. Right. You know, and then it's like,
there's no healing.
It's worse. Yeah. But when we can, like, look at that and say, okay, I recognize there's something there, but I don't know how to fix it. You know, God, show me the root of it. And it's even like, okay, well, why do you feel that way? Now you're in a conversation. Now we can talk about it. Like, and then things start to shift. But there's in that song, like, something that hit me was like Jamie was saying at the end, when you're lost in shame, remember my name, his character. You know, I'll be waiting on the call that comes from the heart of the only one I've ever loved. You know, so, and that's key, because you have to come with the right heart to God, and he'll always hear you. If you come in a different way, that's not the one. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the one. So, but if you come with the right heart, he's always going to hear you. You know, and that doesn't mean we come to him knowing it. It's just open. And if we, in relationship, if we're always open, like, this is how I feel, but I know this is how I'm not going to feel at the end. You know what I mean? This is how I feel right now, but I know it's not like I don't have hope that we're going to work this out, that it's not going to be reconciled. You know, and I think that's where, like, a lot of marriages, relationships, they go bad, is because you cut off and you're like, there's no hope for this. There's always hope. Not,
or you stand in the position that, you know, you think that you're right. Like, it's my way.
Right.
And you're cutting them off.
Right. Well, that's the same thing. That's conditional.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I was, you know, I've been dealing with, you know, with my relationship. And,
Right.
But God's been, I've been talking to you about it. I talked to
Yeah.
Jordan about it. But it's just been healing, bro. Like, we're at a point now where.
But even in your breakdown, even came within you first.
Right.
I'm thinking.
No, yeah, I had to recognize it.
Yeah.
You know,
And
I admit, at first I'm like, no, this is, I'm doing this, the man stern thing, but God's been showing me.
And there was love there, but not the true love, not the beyond love.
Right.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I'm saying.
Yeah.
That passes all knowledge.
That first love, you can't. All right, let me see how I can say this. If you're always looking at somebody why do I have to be the bigger person, or why do I have to be the one? If you see something, how we can see somebody's faults?
Mm-hmm.
If we see their faults, then we can bear their faults, right? But we want to pick out their faults, right? We want to put it back on them. That doesn't help anything. Because if you see it, what I'm saying is that, I've learned this with being in a relationship, right? If I just tell her everything that she does that annoys me or even is wrong, I don't get anywhere, right? But if I see it and then I take it to the one who can bear it, because sometimes I can't bear it, then it can be reconciled. He gives me the understanding to be able to have the responsibility to bear something I couldn't bear before, to see it in a different way. Just because you see something is wrong doesn't mean you have the ability to change it, right? And he gives me the understanding, vision or sight to now change it. And it always starts with you. That's what I'm trying to say. It's never, whenever we try to put it on the other person, it's always
and you
mishandled.
Said, this is the year of you speaking, the year of the mouth.
Of the mouth, yeah.
So you have to watch
decade of the mouth.
What you're saying, because you're putting that right back on somebody, and it's not supposed to be back on them.
Yeah.
You see it, you're not supposed to speak it. You see it, you're supposed to cover it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stop putting it back on them. Yeah.
Yeah. But we see it and we it's almost it's like a pride. You know what I mean? I see this and I see that. And it becomes our pride. I see you, but you don't really see them. You know what I mean? You don't really see them. You see all their flaws, but that's not really who they are. That's just getting in the way of who they are. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So we got to actually die to our own pride and our own self of how we see it, and then we can actually see them for who they are, and we can speak to that, and then it deals with what's in the way. Which is it's crazy.
Praise you, Jesus.
Yeah, man. Anything, Jamie?
No, man, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's a great song, man. I was feeling it. The "I'll Be Waiting" part just had me in the
password.
Real quick.
No much or love.
Angie said, God is doing a major healing and changing hearts. So beautiful. You guys have humbled yourselves.
I don't think you heard me.
Nah, I don't think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been speaking on that. I've been humbled lately. It all started with my ankle. And I know how to fall. I don't get hurt. Bam.
Bro, I got it too. Like, as soon as I got sick, I was like, oh, okay. Because it was right after.
Yeah, the week after. I haven't. You see, you had pride. I haven't missed a podcast.
Wait, hold on. I didn't bring that up.
No, he didn't bring that up. It was James, actually.
James brought it up.
But he did get a little puffed up.
Yeah. You had a little leaven in you. You had a little leaven.
I did. I was like, I was feeling good about myself. Like, yeah, that's great. I ain't missed one. Every episodes, I ain't missed a damn one. Yeah.
And then you was going back and forth with Jake. Well, you missed.
That was both of us though. Like,
and that was right before the Passover started. You had to get rid of that leaven.
And that's that's the beauty of
Me and
relationship.
Jake had to have a whole talk about that the next day because we both were like, we was wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and then I got humbled right after that.
Jordan just wrote something.
Yo, I imagine seeing your wife struggling to carry something heavy, and instead of helping her bear it, we just point out how bad a job she's doing and judging her
for how weak she is.
Or here's the even worse: why she needs you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because she can't do it by herself.
I told you can't do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Isn't that a trap?
But that's why, like, we need each other, and that's why it's like the enemy, devil always wants to get you isolated. You know, wants to get you isolated, maybe even in your family. You know, but wants to get you isolated. That's why it says to go into the world, because you're gonna have issues in the world. Like you're gonna come with conflicts, but that's how you get sharpened, because you're not gonna know how to deal with everything when you go into that world, you know? So then we got to trust in him. That's the point. Like and that's what we learn as like young lions. You know, a young lion is learning how to become a lion, and is learning how to carry that roar, keep that roar, right? Keep that roar and catch prey. And the prey is the darkness. The prey is the thing that wants to act like it's a lion, even. You know what I mean? But we could go deep with that, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Nah, man, dude, go ahead, man. I like it.
Where it's seated in heavenlies.
But I think that's the beauty about this, is that like when we're talking about young lions, it's not like anybody's arrived in any, you know what I mean? Yeah, we grow in knowledge and we grow in understanding and wisdom, but we're growing together. You know, I bought something the other day that I saw and for the house, and it says, we grow together, we learn together, you know, because it's like, even in a house, like my kids are growing, I'm growing, my wife's, we're all growing. It's not like I got it all.
Right.
You know, my kids ask me a question and I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and they're asking me a question and I don't know. So they're actually helping me. You know what I mean? To know something I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out together. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep.
And we can grow together.
Yep. Always learning.
Yeah. And I think leaders, me and Jordan were talking about this last night, like leaders sometimes they take on the responsibility of knowing everything when they don't know. And then they're not honest. They don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
they're hiding that they don't know.
Right.
So how can I cover it?
You come with an answer, and they're like, "Well, you know,"
because you start to have a pride in the fact that people are coming to you for knowledge. So then you feel like you always have to have the answer.
Right.
Yeah.
And that shame of not knowing hits you.
Right. It's actually insecurity in you that's like, well, if I don't know, am I really who I say I am? You know what I mean?
Right. And that's insecurity, and that's coming at who you think you are, but maybe who you think you are isn't really who you are.
Right.
And that's why you need him. See the shame. When you're lost in shame, remember my name.
I'll be waiting.
Screw you guys.
Wow.
What'd you say?
Screw you guys. Make me think over here.
Let it out there, brother. What you got to say?
Shout out to my wife. She's watching.
Oh,
Hey.
some healing going on here. Huh?
Juanita Chang.
I love you, baby.
She used to watch faithfully. What happened to that?
She's catching Z's. She has to wake up 4:30 in the morning. So you know,
Yeah.
Crazy.
That makes sense.
She's a hard worker.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So I wanted to go into something. I found this clip, And it's something simple. Let me pull it up real quick. Tell you, John. So you're on here for the whole thing, Jamie?
I mean, I'm hanging out. I'm cool.
Okay. All right. All right. So I got this clip. You can pull it up, John, if you want. And it says, pregnant mother escorted from Texas church for not wearing a mask and issued trespass warning from police. She was going to get arrested if she didn't.
Hold up. I thought Texas had like a...
Well, that's part of the... Yeah. They stopped all that, but they were still trying to uphold it. So I got the video for it. You can watch it.
Stop that, Jamie. It's contagious.
and there's some stuff I want to like go into here, like just to, and it's connected to Young Lions a little bit. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's go into it. Okay. Ready, John?
It's not me, it's you.
Oh.
Yes. So I was at Mass, like I said, with my husband and my 1-year-old daughter. And I'm newly pregnant and was feeling lightheaded and nauseous. And so I removed my mask. And next thing I know, the pastor had called the police to have me arrested. And so
the pastor did.
I went to go before the police had arrived. I was able to go receive
Priest.
communion. I'm kneeling down, praying, holding my daughter. I have the Eucharist on my tongue. I'm in prayer. And one of the police officers grabs my arm. And she tells me, you need to leave with me right now or you're going to get arrested. And I said, did I commit a crime? And she said, you're trespassing. This is a business and the business does not want you here.
Okay. So
we complied. Yeah.
And so you complied. You did not get arrested though.
I did not get arrested. I would have been had we not complied and left with her right then and there. So we did.
Okay, so I'm thinking, I'm sorry, if the police come in and you're there receiving communion and they come in and they grab you, that everybody else in the congregation that day, everybody else that's there is going to take notice of this. Did it create a disturbance? What happened?
You would think so. I would hope so. But unfortunately, not one person in the church honestly even flinched at what was occurring. And I would think, honestly, almost out of curiosity or dare I say nosiness of what was going on. I mean, here's this mom holding her daughter, kneeling in prayer with 3 police officers, trying to escort her out, potentially put her in handcuffs. And not one person said a word, almost even looked over, took a picture, nothing. It was very upsetting.
How do you know that the pastor's the one that did that? Do you know that?
Yes, he personally came up to me in the middle of Mass and told me he was going to call the police.
Okay, and you mentioned to him you weren't feeling well, you're pregnant, and all of that, but that didn't matter.
He didn't give me the opportunity at all. There was no time for that. He just came up and said, "Put your mask on," and I didn't even have a chance to really say anything. And then I said, "I'm not leaving," and then he immediately said, "I'm calling the police," and stormed off.
Okay. I'm going to read to our viewers here what the governor said at the beginning of March. Today, I'm issuing a new executive order. All businesses of any type are allowed to open 100%. Also, ending the statewide mask mandate. He says, under no circumstance can a county judge put anybody in jail for not following COVID orders, and no penalties can be imposed for failing to wear a mask. But that didn't seem to apply to your congregation, your parish. I'm sorry that happened.
Yes, clearly not, and it's outrageous that this occurred. I was socially distanced, and I think this goes back to the fact that this is not about health. It was never about health. It's about control. It's about obedience.
You're right.
And when the pastor saw that I wasn't immediately obeying him, he just goes from 0 to 100. And that's ultimately what this is about.
Now, Chris Ann Hall, I want to bring
Control.
you in on this from a constitutional side of this. I know the church has a right to remove people if they so desire, but your thoughts?
Well, let's be clear. The church absolutely has a private property right here, and that's something that we cannot allow government to intrude upon. The problem becomes in the application, right? So the governor's order that you can't be arrested for not wearing a mask or sanctioned for not following COVID violations is is not what happened here. When the pastor said you have to wear a mask or go, and then there is a refusal, then that invokes the private property rights. The problem becomes, this is not a business, this is a church, which doesn't avoid the private property issues. The churches absolutely have to retain their authority to have control over who is there and who is not. But when we are talking about churches, is there not a spiritual and a moral obligation to deal with people in grace, to deal with people in accommodation? And when you have a young lady, why not engage in conversation with her? This is not something that should be dealt with in a spirit of absolutism and a spirit of fear. And I think that's what we're seeing with here. As she said, this is about control. This is about a people who have become absolutely saturated with a spirit of fear and lost a sense of grace. And we as a people need to understand that our churches have to be a place where people can feel that grace.
Yeah. Okay. So, the reason why I wanted to show that is because, number one, we can be programmed, and there can be a pressure out of fear to comply, right, to the things to these rules. And there's a difference between rule and law, right? We were talking about this yesterday. Mm-hmm. We make up a lot of rules that we think we got to stand by, and then we realize that they were stupid, right? Or maybe they were just not as wise as we thought they were.
Yeah.
You know? But when you get into these like ultimatums, that's you're imposing on somebody else. You're lording over somebody else. That's a whole different thing. Mm-hmm. That's not how God works, you know. And like they were saying, that's more of a fear thing. And there was something that it made me think of. And Jamie, I know you know this, but let me bring it up real quick. Just this simple thing. Hold on, I'm gonna play it. Bring it up real quick, Jojo.
Compliance. Well, excuse me. Compliance.
So you remember that Flight of the Navigator, Jamie?
Flight of the Navigator, baby.
Yeah,
yes,
that was our movie back in the 80s.
Yes, sir.
So,
isn't that where Send Me an Angel?
No, that's not where Send Me an Angel came from.
What movie is that? I'm mixing 80s movies up.
Send Me an Angel comes from a movie called Rad with
the bike.
About
the bike.
DMX.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
But I when I saw that, I immediately heard compliance, because it's like we become like robots.
Yeah.
Like we have to compliance. Like if we're not complying, listening to like the navigator is the one who's navigating this robot, and he goes wherever he says. You know what I mean? And that's what they want for us. They want us to go wherever they say and comply. And that's what they're trying to program us into doing.
And they bank on the fact that they know that when other people see someone who's not complying, they're going to want to make them comply as well.
Right. Wear your mask. And you can be respectful and honorable, but the moment you see somebody not wearing a mask, like people want to go crazy.
Yeah,
that's not love.
It's a lot of viral videos.
Yeah. Right, and I get it. Like if you're in that world, like okay, you're a part of that world. I get it. But when you're supposed to be a part of, this is in church. You know what I mean? Granted, it's Catholic. You know,
right? Oh, is that what it was? Catholic church.
But regardless, like where is your grace?
Right.
Like you can't ask her a question.
Right.
Are you okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even though you might not think, you might think you got to wear a mask, whatever, but where's your grace? Where's like
the conversation?
Anything you can add? Yeah.
That you said earlier.
Yeah.
How do you reach people?
Right.
By talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
Just a simple
communication.
Question.
Yeah.
what's going on? I see you removed your mask. Is there something wrong?
Right.
Is there something wrong?
The mask mandate is
it's bullshit.
Is lifted though, right? But
well,
I guess it depends on the business.
In Texas, no. In Texas, you can't. It's not. Yeah, he could kick her out, but because they were trying to arrest her if she didn't leave. That you can't do that. Even if she doesn't leave, like you can't arrest her. So that's what they were saying.
Now, if they would have, she probably could have sued him because of the order afterwards. But she's pregnant. She shouldn't go through that stress.
But she left though.
She left because she didn't want to go through that stress. Yeah.
But
she complied.
She complied, but not to the level that they want you to comply.
Yeah.
Right.
The pastor's responsible for it.
Right. So, and how does that relate to Young Lions? Because it's about carrying something. Like Young Lions carry a roar, right? And people who are compliant, they're not going to want to listen to that roar, right? It's funny because somebody pointed this out to me. Shout out to Wilmer. When it says in the Bible, Genesis 3, it says about they already ate the fruit. Adam and Eve ate the fruit, right? Then Jesus comes, or Jesus. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
God comes, right? And it says, and they hear the sound of him walking in the cool of the day, right? Or in the wind of the day, right? The ruach is the cool part. So that's the wind or the spirit of the day, right? And they hide, right? So they hear the sound. Well, you can interpret that word for sound as roar in the Bible, right? So there's something there connected to like God's sound and us walking with God, and see how, because they heard the sound, they went and hid, right? So when we're in our sin, when we're in a state, we don't want to hear what God's got to say. We run from him, right? When Israel heard the sound, it sounded like thunder and lightning, and they pooped their pants. Like they were so afraid, they ran from him, right? They don't want to hear him. You talk to God, Moses, we don't want to hear you. So there's a sound that is like thunder, lightning, that strikes fear into people. That's the fear of the Lord, right? But see how there's a fear that's coming from somewhere else. And it starts with this virus. And then it spreads with, well, you better comply because we're doing this for this. But you're acting out of fear, right? Now, Jamie's sitting at home with the virus right now. But so should he be ashamed? No. All he's got to do is trust in God, right? Turn to God.
But you know what's funny is though, you feel others trying to put that on you though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you feel that. You feel like this whole sense of like, well, how did this happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just have to. You can't feed into that.
Yeah.
And that's what the roar that pastor is supposed to be carrying isn't there.
Right. He's got a different roar.
He's got a different roar that he's bound with.
Right.
He's got that Simba roar.
He got that. What's the other dude?
Scar.
He's got that Scar roar. and who did Scar? It's funny. It's something that I heard. When the lion prowls, the dogs follow close behind. You know what I mean? Like the dogs. And we can even we talked about that with the woman who went to Jesus, the Canaanite woman, right? Who went to Jesus, or the Greek woman in the land of the Canaanites, went to Jesus for help with her daughter who had a demon, and he said, that he doesn't give the bread to the dogs, right?
Right. That was when Jesus said something racist.
Right, that's when they said it was racist, right? And he says it in another place where he says, "Don't give to dogs what's holy," right?
Right.
And like even like in the Talmud, it says that the goyim, which is the Gentiles, the goyim, the nations, the Gentiles are dogs, or like dogs, right? It says that in the Talmud. So that's the perspective they have.
What's the Talmud?
Talmud is the Jewish. It's the rabbinic writings.
Okay, so from
that
the rabbis
that they say was like the verbal Torah that they wrote down.
Okay,
right? So it's really not the Bible, but they just like their added perspective.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, they go into that like, yeah, they're the dogs, but you can't. But if you look at it, it sounds really racist, right? But but the way you have to see it is that us, like, if we don't respect God, if we don't honor God, but we honor this world, then we're like dogs, right? Because a lion, and you can look at it even like I was saying, like you can look at it like we don't war against flesh and blood, right? Mm-hmm. But against powers, principalities. But the powers and principalities use the flesh and blood, right? And they're bloodthirsty. Mm-hmm. That's the dogs, but they're the lions. The powers and principalities are the lions, right? So they're the lions, but it says that like Satan prowls like a roaring lion, seeking who he can devour. So
Scar,
exactly. And who's he using? The hyenas, the dogs.
The dogs.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that perspective, that's what's going on. So like, but then me and Jordan were talking about this. But what's crazy about God is like the 300, Gideon's 300. They were from dogs to lions. They lapped up the water like dogs, but they turned from dogs to lions. So a dog can be, because she's the woman. She said that even the dogs could eat the crumbs at the table, but see, that's a faithful dog. And Jesus even said it, like, your faith, because of your faith, your daughter's healed, right? That's a faithful dog. So you can be led by crumbs to the table, and you can go from a dog to becoming a lion, or a dog to becoming a child of God, right? At the table. And we're all like that. We're all dogs in certain ways until we honor God. And it's our honoring God that puts us at the table. You know, how do we honor God? That's like Passover just passed. If we can come in, if we come into covenant. Passover meant you put the blood over the doorpost. That's covenant. I'm able to enter in now, and the enemy can't come at me, right? Because I have covenant. So now I can go in and I can eat with him. Right, that's why the communion. She was talking about the Eucharist, right?
I had it on my tongue.
The communion is that, like, we're eating of his body, drinking of his blood. That's the meal of God, and we coming in to agreement. So we're coming out of the world, coming into agreement with Him. The dogs are on the outside. It even says that Revelations 22. I think it says about the dogs are on the outside. These are like the evil ones, the sorcerers, the witches, right? And why do we move in witchcraft and sorcery? Why do we talk about each other? Why do we get together in packs and talk about each other? So we can, because we're feeding on their flesh. You know what I mean? Because we're feeding off of them, and it turns into a bigger thing where it can turn into a mob. Now you want flesh. Now you're bloodthirsty. But it starts at that lower level, right? You talk to somebody, and yeah, they did this. All you got, if they agree with you, yeah, they did do that. Yeah. Get somebody else. Yeah, you're right. Yep. They need to pay. You know what I mean? Dogs. Dogs in that sense. It's not racist. It's just what it is. Like, and Jesus was pointing that out. But your faith can turn you into a son. It can give you access in. And that's what, so your faith can turn you into a lion. So where we go from dogs to becoming lions, like the 300. 300 was whittled down in the Bible from like 32,000 to 300 men that then were able to go. And that's what the young lions are about. But it's about faith, which causes you to carry the fear of the Lord. You can't enter in without the fear of the Lord. So now you carry, that's the roar. Because you feared God, you carry the fear of the Lord in you. And now when you roar, it hits people. It hits people a little different. And their flesh don't like it. You know, the world don't like it. That's why sometimes when people speak, like maybe I'm speaking right now, people don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but there's those people who are like, yeah, it's uneasy, but at the same time,
there's
something there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, and
there's gold there.
Right. Or sometimes people hear something and they might not want to hear it, but later on they think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and because it's not about us, it's about them and him. Really has nothing to do with us. It's just about our roar that enters them into the kingdom. And it's all about the beginning of wisdom, which is the fear of the Lord. Or else you're going to be bound to the roar, right? He roars, seeking who he can devour.
Yeah.
That's
Like
the
a
enemy,
lion.
right? And if you bow down to that roar, now you're just going to be the hyenas in the Lion King, you know, that were subservient to Scar. But they don't really care about Scar. You know, they just
they turned on him in the end.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
They really just care about themselves.
They were scared of Mufasa, though.
Yeah.
Right. Because he carried that roar.
That was a true roar.
When they roared, then and Simba got that roar at the end, right?
Yep. Yep.
So that's what it's about. And you can't carry that roar by just wanting to have the roar.
Mm-hmm.
You got to experience it. You got to go through the process. You know what I mean?
That was Simba's story.
Exactly.
He wanted that roar. I'm going to be a mighty king.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know it.
But he wasn't ready.
He wasn't
He
ready.
wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Badillo Binet, wow, church is a business. That's messed up. Shake my head. And then I think Jesus dealt with that too, when they turned the church into a business.
Yeah, when he went in and he was
flipped the tables over.
That's when he was roaring.
He was,
right?
Like, what are you doing with the church?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sam.
Yeah. Because what you're doing is you're actually standing in the way of grace, right? And that's what he's subservient to. I mean, with the Catholic Church, you might be subservient to the bishop that's over the whole thing, and then the cardinal. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, and they can change it all up, but they can't even make a statement unless they're given clearance from their overheads.
Priest, I guess, there.
But see, you got so much hierarchy, right? And you got so much compliance. So that's why at the bottom it's not hard for him to comply because he's already complying, right? You got so many people standing in the way of God.
The disconnection from God, from the source.
But when there's none of that, it's just me and God. I can speak to God, and I might have a better relationship with God than somebody else, but that's only because I know, right? And you can grow in the same thing. So there's no partiality. Like I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. I just might believe more than you. And there's might be some things that are causing you to get in the way of your belief, and we can work that out. You know what I mean? But yeah, it gets in the way, and then you become compliant.
Yeah,
and that's fear.
Yeah,
you know.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's all I had. I just wanted to share that, and it really made me think like compliance.
That's what they're working on, man.
Yeah,
and it's all fear porn.
They want to see like how far can we take this?
Yeah,
how far are they gonna go? You know?
Yeah.
And just allow. How far are they going to allow themselves to be passive? You know, passive fathers get their house taken over. And that's where we got to start, right? At our houses. Passive fathers get their houses taken over.
Wow.
And, like, if you are passive with your kids,
they gonna
run. Yeah, they're going to run. Okay. All right, I'm doing this over here. Yeah, go ahead. Like, eventually they turn into some other thing. Like years later, and you're like, how'd you grow so? How I don't understand how they got like this. Because we were passive. That's what we're seeing in America.
Yeah.
Passive fathers, passive leaders, passive fathers.
Or progressive.
Sound like
Progressive.
Sound like you said pacifier.
Yeah.
Hey, I
That's
took
the root
I took a
word?
picture of this on my son's daycare. I'm not gonna put it up on here, but in the Zoom meeting, one of the kids, they're 4-year-olds, right?
Mhm.
Not daycare, preschool. He's drinking on a bottle, a milk bottle. 4 years old. Might have been 5 years old because it's 4 and 5 year olds. But
dude, that's the thing. I remember my mom telling me a story about one of her friends' daughter had a son. She said, I don't know how true this was, but he was like 7 years old, and she would bring him a bottle, like a milk bottle, to school, so that he can drink. Yes.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's like I don't want to
grow up.
I don't. Well, I mean the parent side. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to deal with it.
I don't want to hold the line.
I don't want to hear them scream. You know what I mean? So let me just.
I remember it was a thing. I was trying to like Noe with his little, little milk bottle, whatever. Like, I was trying to get him off of it ASAP, and my mom was fighting me on it. He's just a baby.
Yeah.
But once he got off it, he was off it.
Yeah. The pacifier. Yo, my kids so quickly they get off of it, like, and we just take it away, and they would just get off of it. Like, oh, how'd you do that? They cry for a little bit and then they're done.
Yeah.
But they don't want to hear them cry at all. Like people asking us, I'm saying they don't want to hear them cry.
Yeah.
So they're still doing it.
You're gonna hurt his feelings.
I would say that it shouldn't be the gym owner standing up to the government. It should be the church. It should be that pastor saying, holding the line. No, you're not doing this here.
But the church is compromised with their tax exemption, so that's why they don't.
I know. It's all
Not all the church.
Yeah, not all of them, but it's connected back.
Did you hear about Attilis? What they're doing with the they're giving free memberships to anyone who doesn't get the vaccine.
Get the shot. Yep. Yep. That's why I wanted to go there, man. But it's just
it's been a free membership. Like,
yeah, they haven't charged.
They just take donations.
They haven't charged a membership fee since.
Yeah, I know they haven't.
Started.
I will say though, you can be bitter or butthurt. Like you can go the other way,
prideful.
Yeah, because of what's going on, and that's there is a line, and there's a humility, where we like you. Sometimes we want to do stuff just to get back at the man, and that might not be right either.
Yeah, for sure.
Mom just said, I thought you were going to say she was breastfeeding him at 7.
I do know.
I was going to say
a kid who did that.
Wasn't that in the movie? That was in the movie, right?
That was in the one with Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah.
Daddy Daycare or something like that? Daddy Daycare?
I don't know if it's Daddy Daycare or
it was one of those.
Daddy something.
Could you imagine a 7-year-old just walking up like, Mom,
well, in Game of Thrones they did it, I know.
Bust that milk out, Mom.
He was 11.
My father-in-law, he always tells me the stories of the youngest son. They had like 13 kids. They had a lot of kids. But the youngest son, till like 6 years old, he was being breastfed. Wow. He was telling me a story about them being on the train and like in New York, and he just like pulled it out.
Mom, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yep.
That's nasty.
So I do know. Yeah.
Yo, can I tell a funny story?
Wait. It's funny because he's the tallest of all the brothers. I don't know.
Wow.
He drank that breast milk. So
I was gonna say,
it's good.
it's some nutrients in there that he might be.
He's
So-
probably got the highest IQ.
Yeah, the smartest breast milk work. Yo, so Jamie got that Eagles.
I was gonna bring
hoodie,
that up.
That Eagles hoodie on. It just reminded me today. I got a text.
I was gonna bring that up.
First, I got a call from John. Right? He called me. I couldn't answer it because I was talking to my wife. And
I was so hyped.
So he texted me. Yo, they just fired Howie Roseman.
They did?
Get this. Then he texted me later. No, they didn't fire Howie Roseman.
It's April Fool's today.
It was
dude.
an April Fool's joke.
Yo, and it was Eagles Nation posted it. I thought Eagles posted it, so I like freaked out. I was going crazy. I was like, yes.
They'll never get rid of that guy. He's got something on Jeffrey Lurie.
Yeah, he does.
Yep. You can only imagine what that is.
Yeah, John.
It's funny because Jamie readjusted his camera and he turned it down, and then I saw the Eagle sweatshirt, and it made me think of what I said to you.
As soon as I saw it.
And I was about to say it too.
Yeah.
I looked up passive. That was like a word that I said earlier, like passive father. So, because passive leaders. So listen what passive says. Tending not to take an active or dominant part. Receiving or enduring without resistance. Submissive. Existing or occurring without active, open, or direct, to yielding, tolerant, or non-resistant. So like you can, all these things, like you got to have tolerance, and that's the key thing. Like today, love is tolerance, which it's not. And you're seeing that at the border right now.
At the border, I was just gonna say, it sounds like you're summing up the border.
Sounds good until you got everybody coming in and you can't handle it, Biden. And then they're trying to blame it on
did
Trump.
you see?
It's funny.
You see the Ted Cruz went. There's a video that went viral.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't let the camera crews in that came with him.
Yeah.
So he recorded on his cell phone, and then the lady was trying to get in the way of the cell phone.
Yeah.
And she was saying dignity. Please give dignity to the kid, to the.
Is it dignity though? Like if they abide by their rules with the COVID or whatever like that, they're like jammed up in there.
And the rate of transmission amongst them is 10%. They're carrying COVID, and if you go by their guidelines.
And then AOC was on her live talking about how if you call it a surge, it's white supremacist. It's white supremacist to call it a surge,
right?
Because
militaristic.
Yeah.
How come she's not like going there and crying
like she did before when Trump was in?
Because why aren't they calling it concentration camps now? And now it's just holding facilities, because it's not politically expedient for them to call it out anymore.
It doesn't fit their narrative.
It does not fit their narrative.
They're straight up lying to you. And
what's up, Jennifer? Jennifer Gandy said, "Hi guys."
Hey, Jen.
What's up?
Jordan said the tail can be passive, but not the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom said she said respect to the children.
Yeah. Oh, she said respect to the children, not dignity.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's think about what the tail does. It just wags. That's why it can't be. That's why it is passive.
Right.
Yeah. But a head is headstrong.
Yeah. It's in one direction.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on with that. I think these things sound good, like when we should just let everybody in. We should just love everybody. But again, that's not real love. Love without respect is chaos, right? You can't, that's not real love, bottom line.
Mhm.
You can hope and believe for all things, but even God don't let you in, right? Like if you look at God and you look at the whole Bible, you can't come into where he is if you don't honor him and respect him, the fear of the Lord. You can't come in.
Yeah.
You can't come into his house, right? So why would we think it'd be any other way with us? And if we uphold those things in our lives,
Then
like
he's patient enough to let you in.
he lets us in. All we do is humble ourselves, right? Literally. And every time that's what happens. And we get breakthrough. Like we see it every day in our lives. That's real love. Because you can't come into what he has unless you humble yourself. Now that's love, because you got to honor the Father in heaven, right? Jesus came to show the way to the Father so that you'd have a path. That's love. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, right?
Yeah.
So that we could have a path back to him, right? So that we could enter back in to that place. So like, and when you look at it, like we're the same people, a house, a father's house. That's why you have a mother and a father. Parents uphold the household, right? If your kids don't listen to you, they got to go. They got to uphold those rules. But a lot of times you don't kick your kids out because they're going to listen to you if you uphold those rules, and not in a way where it's my way or the highway. You know what I mean? But more like, no, we don't do this, this, and this.
Here's
and
why.
This is why.
This is why.
Here's the understanding behind it.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're going to ask you.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to ask you.
Yeah.
And then you come into what they have. Like, bad leaders, me and Jordan were talking about this last night. Bad leaders want to be leaders, but don't want to die. Bad leaders want to be leaders, but like if Moan knows about design. I'm trying to think of the word. Graphic design, right? Now, I want to learn from Moan, right? I could sit there and listen to what he has to say and then take it and run with it. But what's greater is his heart intent behind what he learned. Because now I'm going to get the deeper meaning. If I just get the thing that he does, then I'll just copy it. That's a pretender. That's an actor. That's a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really not living up to where he got it from, because that's heart. It's just like singing. Like if I sing a song, but I don't know a song that somebody else wrote and where did it come from, right? And I don't care about where it come from. I just want to sound good singing it. That's an actor. That's a pretender, right? And people might be, oh my gosh, they're killing it because they're doing all this stuff. They're doing tricks. And that's all it is, people. It's all just tricks. We know. But if you're not listening to the heart behind it, right? You can be programmed to the tricks, but it's really about the heart. And when you hear the heart, that's where the spirit is, right? That's where the right spirit is. So if you don't know the right spirit, you're going to be moving into all kinds of spirits, right? But so you got to die to your own desire, right? To come into how did you get what you got, you know? And then you lead me into it. That's even spiritual worship, like singing. You lead me in. When we sing something and I open myself up to what you're doing, they're leading me in, right? That's what God does with us. It's the same thing. He leads us in, and then we come into that wisdom. So wisdom without the heart behind it is just an actor. You know, that's what Jesus said, you're hypocrites to the Pharisees, because they're just actors. They don't really know the heart behind it.
Right.
They're just acting.
They're just the law.
Yeah.
The law, the law, the law.
Yep. And that's why, like, good actors, they got to get into those roles, and they go to dark places sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you hear that a lot with actors.
Oh, yeah.
They got to go to those dark places. They don't have to, but that's what they,
do.
think they have to do.
Heath Ledger got taken out
Yeah.
because, he embraced and
That
went into
dark
that
role.
dark.
Yeah.
And that's why it was such a great Joker, because he adapted that mindset.
Right.
You know, and then, not to mention the other Brokeback
Never watched that movie, by the way.
But yeah, you go into that place and you open yourself up. Your heart is open.
Yeah.
As a natural thing, we want to open up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and
But if your heart's open to the wrong
things,
then you're getting moved by the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm just thinking about immigration again.
Yeah, and that's
it is.
There's the
Yeah.
key, because people want you to be open to the wrong thing. And when you just because you feel something, don't mean you can perceive what you're feeling.
Right.
You know. And so people, it's manipulation. It's witchcraft, whatever you want to call it. Manipulation to get you to feel, right? But the truth, a lot of times people want to feel the truth, right? I don't want to feel this way. Turn that off. You know what I mean? I don't want to look at that. I don't want to know that there's people that are being, there's children that are being abused, you know.
There's children being thrown over the wall, 3-year-olds.
Yeah, I don't want to know about that. A lot of people don't want to hear about that because it's too much. But we got to.
Mm-hmm.
How do you confront it if you don't want to see it?
Yeah.
Jordan said the church has a responsibility to be the head.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like a father is just a bunch of hypocritical BS if he's not trusting in his father, his heavenly father. You know what I mean? Through Jesus. Because then you're going to make up a whole lot of stuff that you don't really follow, and your son's going to see that. Your kids are going to see that, you know? It's the same thing with pastors, you know, same thing with leaders, whatever. People see it, and they don't want to live up. They don't believe you. And that's what we're going through right now. And it's and it becomes so well, my dad did all these things. You know, my parents got divorced. They don't see any type of faith or
example
of things might not be going right, but I'm gonna stick to it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna search. You know, if you don't see that, then it's there's no hope. So then the next generation is why should I get married? You know, and what are you doing now? You're dishonoring marriage, right? You might not say it, but that's what's happening, and you're dishonoring
the order.
Those things. You start to dishonor more things. You don't have to be a man if you're a man. You know what I mean? You dishonor creation. You dishonor things that are there, that are obvious, but you dishonor it because nothing is really what needs to be respected, what needs to be honored. It's all about how I feel. And then that's I'm gonna pose on you how I feel. And remember what we were talking about earlier? We gotta lay down how we feel for our wife. See, now it's the opposite. No, you need to bend to how I feel. And if you don't, then I cut you off. That's a different ball game. That's not real love. But then, no, you don't love. You're a homophobic. You're this, you're that. You don't have love. You're you hate. See, it's literally flipped around. You know what I mean? The total opposite. It's crazy. And I think it boils down to our leaders. You know what I mean? Talking about it boils down to passive fathers, passive leaders. What do you think, Jamie?
Not in miles.
No, I agree 100%. You know, you guys been paying attention to this Stop Asian Hate thing?
Yeah.
I have not.
Come on, man, you're Asian.
Even though I'm Asian.
Another attempt to, unify people in victimhood, you know. And the crazy thing is, they're really struggling to get black people to get on board with this one because it's for so long, it's always all right, all minorities should be under one monolithic way of thinking. But with this one, it's they're struggling with it a little bit because a lot of black people are saying like, well, where was all the Asian people, you know, that was coming to bat for us? You know what I mean?
Right.
But now y'all want us to stand in unity with Stop Asian Hate, you know. So,
So
you
it
know,
seems
it's
a
just,
little more divisive than.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's the effect that it's having. You know what I mean? And you know, we've talked about it on here many times about like how, you know, prejudice exists in all cultures.
Yeah. I mean, I've
So-
talked about it. You know, my people are really prejudiced.
Right. So when you see this push to try to like get everyone to buy into a narrative, you know, it's almost like it's not working anymore as much as it used to. Like it still is, of course. There's a bunch of people that are sharing the hashtag and, you know, corporations spreading this. You know, every news channel is talking about Asian hate and stuff like that. But I feel like for a lot of people, it's not working like it used to.
Yeah. Maybe they're waking up.
No, they are. There's definitely a breaking that has happened, and it's still happening.
Yeah. Well, I haven't experienced, you know, racist Asian. I haven't. You know,
Right,
so-
but I think the agenda is to just continue to. They feel like if they can keep the narrative going about it somehow keeps.
Pretty much, it's connected to Trump, bro. Like
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. It keeps
Yeah,
that hate, it keeps that hate going because it's like, well, he's the one that started this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How can we keep the divide going?
Yeah.
Right.
Separation.
Which doesn't make any sense when you look at it.
Yeah.
Well, it
Well,
does.
that's why I think
It
it's not working
does
that
because
well.
they can talk about him because like the news outlets, their ratings are dropping. If they can just keep him lingering around.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it doesn't make any sense when you research it.
Right.
I'm saying that it doesn't make any sense, but yeah, when there's a narrative, and that's why I don't listen to the news. Like I don't listen. Like sometimes I'll go on real quick and you know see if I can find some clips, but I can't listen because it's a whole nother spirit.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
Yeah. And,
there's. I'm sorry to cut
No,
you
go
off.
ahead.
There's a video of Nancy Pelosi having like a Zoom meeting talking about linking Asian hate to white supremacy. So how do you explain? How do you explain like a lot of them is black
African Americans,
Ooh, they're
maybe Muslims.
explaining it away. They're saying that it's because these people have bought into the white supremacist idea that that Asian people have brought COVID, so therefore it still is the fault of white supremacy. Like this is what they're doing. And when you push these type of narratives, it's easy to always just kind of funnel it back through somehow. They can create some kind of link, you know. So it's like that's why trying to argue it or debate it is like pointless.
Yeah, it always goes back to Orange Man bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did y'all talk about the little Nas X thing at all?
I was going to mention it.
We didn't. I mean, if you want to, it's just like
I can't.
Everybody talks about it, so it's just like
I can't even.
But if you want to,
yo,
like,
dude, I literally like when you sent it. You're the one that sent that, right?
Yeah.
It was like playing for like 2 seconds, and once I saw what it was, I couldn't even watch it. Yo, I turned it off.
It's nasty.
Yeah.
Because I knew what it was.
Yeah, but I honestly think what it is, you know, someone like him and a lot of the people that are becoming popular now, they understand the formula. The formula is to do something so outrageous that you will have. It's literally outrageous, right? So it's outrage. It's going to cause an outrage in people enough so that they keep talking about you. So it basically just feeds the ethos with your name, and you take over the minds of people that way. And I think a lot of Christians are just like giving it life for no reason. Like I sent it to y'all because it was like clearly just blatant stupidity, you know what I mean, and craziness.
But that's why.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's why I kind of didn't want to talk about it, just because it's like people are like, "Do you see this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are we not in the last days? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just becomes something where it's like, yo, this is the way of the world. Like, this is the way of the world. We can't be focusing on these things. Like, yeah, we can look at it like, yeah, what are we gonna do, guys? What are we gonna do?
Yeah, we need to be looking at it like, look, we messing up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not supposed to be like, can you believe this?
Right. Like, I actually can believe it because this is what. This is where we're going.
It's
like
the spirit of
Not only
the
that,
time.
like, I can believe it. I can believe it because the church has totally allowed this to happen. And what he's doing is, he, in his mind, he feels like he's that's like a FU to the church, because for him it's like, these are the people that reject me. These are the people that say that because I'm gay I'm going to hell. So look, here you go. Now what? You know what I mean?
Right.
So let y'all be all offended. He literally came out with a sneaker with
the
666
blood thing
and the, you know what I mean? It's like it's just trolling Christians.
There's
and
only
they just
666 pairs.
Yeah, like
though.
And that's the key.
Yeah,
What you just said, Jamie. It's trolling, and it's only effective if you're affected.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you recognize it, like, you're not moved by it. Like, yo, pray for him, move on. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's actually crying out, like he's hurt. You know, he's actually crying out. There's so many people that are hurt by what Christendom has done to them. You know, when like to me, it shows we need to show more love. What are we gonna do? We gotta love more. If we don't have the ability, we need to go to the one who can give it to us.
Right.
But when we're just like,
you know what just hit me? Like what we were just talking about. That's what the church is. Like the relationship between the man and the husband and the wife, pointing the finger,
right,
condemning people, making people run away from the church. It's pretty much the same conversation we've been having.
Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. So if there's no respect, you can even look at it like that. Like, I got no respect for you because you're a hypocrite. Well, maybe I need to check myself. Am I acting? Am I pretending? You know what I mean? And my outrage shows it, because why are you getting so mad? Why are you so enraged? That should show you don't really have the capability to be a leader.
And because it's like people want to throw like the things that I keep hearing is like, oh, his entire audience is children. He came to fame by being marketed to children, and now he's doing this. It's like, stop letting your children listen to this stuff.
Yeah,
Like it's that simple.
Our kids don't listen to none of that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why do your children? Why are they idolizing anybody in the first place?
Right.
Tiffany Sloan said, "Hey guys, what's up, Tiff?"
Hey, Tiff.
Mom said, "It's funny how the administration is blaming the former administration for the border problems."
Of course they are.
That's another obvious thing.
James says, "I think he's just trolling for attention." Little Nas, I don't even react. And yeah. But I mean, I think there does need to be a reaction because it's a cry out. Like, we can't just ignore it, We gotta like this is an opportunity.
Right.
You know, it's getting that back. Like when our kids act up, there's a lot of neglect that's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of neglect. If they're acting up to that level, there's a lot of neglect that's been going on.
Yeah.
You know,
I understand what James is saying though, in the sense of like if you look at what he's doing and like what someone like a Tekashi 6ix9ine does, where it's like if people just totally ignored them,
right,
they would have to just figure something else out, because it's like your outrage is what feeds them. You know what I mean?
Right. You know what it just reminded me of? Like when you were talking the skit from Mad TV. Look what I can do.
Yeah.
Look what I can do.
Yeah.
Just ignore him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there's a level of, well, why do you think you can do what you can do? Like asking the question, like, well, why are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right?
Why do you feel like you got to show something to me in that way? Where's your heart at in that? What makes you? I've actually had these conversations with kids that act that way, and then when you get down to it, oh, I don't have to act. You know what I mean? Like they recognize it. So I think sometimes you got to ask those questions, but you got to be in a position where you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the church ain't nowhere near that position. Like, that's the problem. So now we just judging, and so we gotta ignore it in that sense. Like can't be. Oh, do you see what's going on? Like that's just like the complaining of look at the world we live. When's Jesus coming back?
Yeah.
When's he coming back?
Look at his faults that he has.
He's not coming back for you. I'm sorry.
Because you had a responsibility and you ain't taking cross up properly.
No. I'm joking. But y'all know what I mean. We're supposed to be occupying till he comes, right? You can't occupy something you withdrew from. Like, we're withdrawing. Like, I don't want to have no parts of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you're not
going to stay.
You're not going to have no parts, and they're going to occupy it, and they're going to be doing what they do, and then you're going to be mad. That's a sore loser. Yeah, that's a sore loser.
I'm taking my ball.
Come on, Jesus. We know you want. We know. I'm taking my ball.
Give me my ball, yo. That just brings me back to the 5%er.
I can't wait till Jesus comes. It makes every knee bow. Like, you see what I'm like? They just twist that. Like,
so I can tell everyone I told you so.
Yeah. I can tell everyone I told you so. See?
Yeah,
I'm telling you. It's all going to hell. Like, I'm telling you. Like, all right, that's what you want, like,
and that's what you're speaking.
That's what you're gonna have, and then when you realize it's happening, and you don't have no way out, it's like maybe I should have rethought that.
But they think they're going to be standing there next to Jesus, like, "Yup, see Jesus, I tried to tell him."
Me and him. See, we boys. You.
That's funny.
Jordan said, people really like things that mock Christianity because they are caught up in the bitterness over the way they feel they've been hurt by the church.
Exactly.
But that's sons. Like sons that get hurt and they see the hypocrisy, and the dads are like, I don't care. You get out of this house, right? There's no love. There's just like stern, like,
my way or the highway.
Yeah, my way. And that's a passive dad. Because even though it doesn't look like it, it actually is, because you don't want to handle nothing.
Yeah.
You just want to say something. And it's just like Christians, like, oh, I witnessed to this person, right? They didn't want to receive Jesus. Well, if he goes to hell, that's on them. Like, I'm done. What? Like, this is crazy. Yo. Like, they literally, like, step into the world, Oh,
Little too hot.
Come on, like
Little too
that's
hot
too
over
much.
there. Dip the little toe.
Dip the toe in.
Oh, that's cold.
Step out of that. Like,
Yeah.
Not for me.
Sorry, Jesus, I tried.
And then we wonder why. Like, and then you like, but over here, it's all
righteousness right here.
The crazy thing to me though is like people are mad at Lil Nas X. People are mad at like Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B. These are people that are clearly just living a life that they want to live.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like there's literal people in the church that most of these people go to that are doing worse things. Like we were talking about the Ravi Zacharias thing and all that stuff. And they will make excuses up and down for these people.
Right. Yeah.
Like to me, that's worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hypocrite.
You don't recognize your abuser.
Yeah, it's like you want to be mad at Lil Nas X, who, the Old Town Road guy. You know what I mean? Who posted a picture of him having fake breast implants. Like,
but you want to but you want to sit under like that's what I see sometimes with Ravi Zacharias. He talks so good. Like, he's such a good communicator, man.
Yeah,
I wish I could be like him one day. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then you miss everything. Like, this dude is a phony.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like but how do you miss that? Because you're caught under the lore of something. It's just like listen to Little Nas. You're caught under the lore of something there, right?
Yeah.
If you're listening to him, but it's the same thing with him. But the problem is he's in it. He's in the place that is supposed to be holy. That's not holy out there.
Right.
You're calling something holy and it's not holy. You know? And then you can't even discern the difference.
Yeah.
Love you, Tiff. Have a good Easter. Have a good Resurrection Day.
Oh, we can have a conversation about Easter.
I don't think we got time for that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
We should have did a whole podcast about that.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I think we're about done, guys.
All right, cool.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, what did he do?
Hi, I'm Jamie.
Put you on my face again.
Hey guys, thank you very much for watching. We appreciate you, and make sure you go like, subscribe on YouTube.
Do the Jamie.
And yeah.
Do I really go out? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You rich.